Welcome to the intake.
Okay guys, welcome back to the intake with me, Crystal Joseph, owner of PsycYourMind, also author of Pound Cake in Private Practice. So this is segment 3. This is called Analysis, and this is where I answer some questions in an analytical fashion about the industry as well as the practice of counseling and therapy. So the first question that I was asked in this domain is, do I psychoanalyze family and friends? Yes and no. So with that being said, there are no conflicts of interest or dual relationships per the ethical code that I follow. So I don't see and or treat family members or friends. That's something that is not allowed. But basically, I try to meet family and friends for who they are. I've always wanted to be a therapist. I've always loved the field of psychology. So it is a bit difficult to meet someone and for them to not feel like I'm analyzing them. So just make sure that, if you're my friend or family members that may be watching, I love you dearly, and that is not the case. However, I do believe that we operate and interact with our environment in a very specific way. One of my favorite theories is called reciprocal determinism by Bandura. It is pretty much a triad that represents our behaviors, our environment, and our thoughts behind it. So it predates cognitive behavior theory or therapy in the sense of the quadrilateral that is sometimes represented when you introduce cognitions. So I've always looked at that as, well, if my environment is dictating one thing, then I'm going to react to it in a particular way. So please know that it's a cycle. Can be a vicious cycle, but we're looking at it in that fashion, and I look at my friends and family in that fashion. So I may have a bit of insight on why a person could be behaving in a particular manner, but I'm not psychoanalyzing them, I promise. Okay, so that answers the first question. The second question that I was asked in this domain of analysis was, do I think that there is a seat at the table for everyone when it comes to collaboration, particularly in the industry of counseling and therapy? Wow. That is a doozy of a question. So my comment or my answer to that is yes, there is a seat at the table for everyone. Whether someone built the table, you built your own chair and pulled it up to that table, or what have you. You're going to see a hashtag that I use every now and then with the therapists that I associate with called hashtag community over competition. And that's basically what that's saying. It's no matter what, we're supportive of each other, what each other is doing, and we're formulating a community for the greater good of the larger community. So Brofenbrenner and Brofenbrenner talk about microsystems, and the rings or the donuts get bigger and bigger and bigger to your macro system. So we're looking at, we as a person, how can we affect change, but also how we can collaborate. So I don't specialize in the same thing as, say, the therapist 3 doors down. He does substance use and motivational interviewing. I don't specialize in the same thing as someone, say, in DC. We all have our niche, and niche development is very important, which is why a seat at the table is available for everyone. Now, there is going to be some overlap, and that's okay. Don't get in your feelings about it. It happens. And with that, I say, don't get caught up in what therapist A versus therapist Z versus what therapist N is doing. It's very important that you know where you fall, why your seat at the table is so important, what you contribute, and why that is so important, and follow through with that. I've noticed that people tend to say what they're going to do to draw people in, particularly on social media. Oh, I can't wait for you guys to see fill in the blank. And with that, I would like to provide some commentary in that just do it. You're going to get more feedback, a supportive following when you can produce. So productivity looks a little bit better, and proactivity looks a little bit better than reactivity. If you're constantly reacting to your environment, as I talked about with reciprocal determinism, you're going to be in a state of hypervigilance, if you will, or fatigue because you're tired of running and chasing after someone else's vision. So I want you to focus on that, focus on your seat, focus on why your wood of acacia or walnut finish is different, and also can form a partnership with a person whose chair is teak or mahogany. So does that make sense? Hopefully it does. But just make sure you get in where you fit in. And if not, do your own thing. That's okay. But just make sure that you understand we're not in competition with each other. We are raised, unfortunately, in this capitalistic society that competition is good and it's healthy. And in some ways it is. But in the human services and helping industries, it can become catty or dog eat dog, and so you want to be mindful of how you come across to your colleagues and also to your prospective clients. So that is the analysis portion of the intake. Thank you for joining me, Crystal Joseph, owner of PsycYourMind.